Have you ever found yourself chasing an endless horizon of comfort, building a life out of fragile distractions, hoping that if you just hold on tightly enough, the storms of change will never find you? We often construct a palace within our minds, a sanctuary filled with pleasant thoughts, transient stabilities, and the sweet illusion that everything we love will remain untouched forever. We turn our eyes away from the quiet whispers of impermanence, treating the reality of decay, illness, and loss as distant, fading shadows that only belong to someone else. But what happens when the invisible walls of our illusions finally crumble? What happens when we are forced to look directly into the fragile, fleeting nature of this human existence? Today, the Serene Spring invites you into an ancient kingdom of gold and silk, where a young prince left behind a world of perfect comfort to discover a truth that belongs to us all. Let your mind become entirely still. Let your breathing grow soft and slow. And together, let us step into a journey from the illusions of security to the infinite ocean of liberation. Long ago, in the sweeping plains within sight of the eternal Himalayas, there flourished the kingdom of Kapilvastu. It was a land of boundless abundance, where emerald rice fields stretched as far as the eye could see, and the wide plazas of the city gleamed like scattered gold dust under the midday sun. Yet, behind all this external grandeur, there lay a hidden fragility. The ruler, King Siddhartha, lived with the silent weight of an ancient prophecy, one which foretold that his only son, Prince Siddhartha, would one day look upon the miseries of the world, renounce his royal heritage, and become a wandering sage. Moved by the deep fear of losing his heir, the king sought to build a world where no shadow of sorrow could ever fall. He built 3 magnificent palaces for the young prince, one carved from white stone for the heat of summer, one of fragrant sandalwood for the heavy rains, and one of dark clay for the piercing frost of winter. Within these walls, time seemed to stand perfectly still. No dead leaf was permitted to fall upon the paths of the palace gardens. No withered flower could remain on its vine. Armies of gardeners worked through the dark hours of the night to replace fading blossoms with fresh, dew-kissed buds. The servants, dancers, and musicians who surrounded Siddhartha were all young, vibrant, and radiantly beautiful. If a singer developed a raspy throat or a guard showed signs of fatigue, they were softly replaced before the prince could ever witness the imperfection of a changing body. Prince Siddhartha lived enveloped in a dreamscape of silk, perfumes, and the sweet, hypnotic melody of flutes and the graceful movements of dancers. Every earthly desire was anticipated and fulfilled before it could even formulate in his mind. Yet, the human consciousness cannot be nourished by illusions indefinitely. Beneath the layers of silk and the endless celebration, a silent restlessness began to stir within Prince Siddhartha. It was not a dissatisfaction with his luxuries, but a profound, unnameable ache for what was real. Prince Siddhartha would look up at the heavy stone walls of his paradise and wonder about the world that existed beyond the horizon. He began to notice that the laughter in his court felt like a mask, performed by those who were hiding a dark truth behind their practiced smiles. The absolute perfection of this perfect world started to feel suffocating. A golden cage designed to keep his spirit asleep. One bright morning, driven by an irrepressible urge to step beyond the veil of illusions, Prince Siddhartha summoned his loyal charioteer. Channa, prepare the golden chariot, Prince Siddhartha commanded, his eyes reflecting a quiet, immovable determination. I wish to see the realm beyond these gates. I want to look upon the paths where my people walk, to breathe the air of the wider world, and to see life exactly as it unfolds. When the king heard of his son's request, fear silently gripped his heart. He immediately dispatched messengers to every corner, ordering that all signs of decay, sorrow, and misfortune be hidden away. The elderly were told to stay deep indoors. The sick were moved to distant places. The poor were cleared from the public paths. The crumbling walls of the citadel were draped in vibrant silk banners, and fresh flowers were scattered across the dirt roads. The king wanted to ensure that his son saw only a world created of perpetual joy. Prince Siddhartha stepped into the chariot, drawn by 3 pristine white horses, with Channa holding the reins. As they passed through the towering gates of the palace, the air felt different, heavy, and alive with the raw breath of human existence. At first, the journey was exactly as the king had intended. Crowds of citizens in their finest attire lined the streets, cheering and throwing jasmine blossoms before the chariot. Prince Siddhartha smiled, but his intuitive mind could sense a subtle tension vibrating beneath the rejoicing, as if the entire citadel were holding its breath. And then, the illusion cracked. Through a narrow gap between 2 brightly decorated houses, away from the path cleared by the king's guards, an old man stumbled into the open sunlight. It was a sight Prince Siddhartha had never encountered within his golden palaces. The man was bent low, his spine curved like a weathered bow that had long lost its tension. His hair was thin and white as winter frost, drifting wildly around a deeply lined, leathery face. His hands, trembling violently, clutched a rough wooden staff for support, and his breath came in ragged, wheezing gasps. Every step he took seemed to be an agonizing battle against an invisible weight. Prince Siddhartha leaned forward, his heart tightening with a strange, piercing emotion. "Channa," Prince Siddhartha whispered, his voice trembling. "Look at that person over there. What has happened to him? Why is his body so bent and fragile? Why does he shake so? And why is his hair white as snow? Is he a different kind of man, born into this shape of suffering?" Channa bowed his head, his heart heavy with the truth he had been strictly forbidden to reveal. Yet, looking into the earnest, searching eyes of Prince Siddhartha, the charioteer could not find the cruelty to lie. "My prince, that is an old man," Channa replied softly. "He was once young, strong, and full of life, just as you are now. But the slow, unceasing river of time has washed away his strength. His limbs have grown rigid, his senses have dimmed, and the fire of youth has faded into gray embers. Old age is the silent destiny of all flesh, It quietly erodes our vitality and leaves us in the shadow of frailty. Prince Siddhartha stared at the withered figure until he disappeared into the dust of the narrow alley. The cheers of the crowd suddenly felt deafening and meaningless to his ears. "Tell me, Channa," Prince Siddhartha asked, a heavy gravity settling upon his face. "Is this fate reserved for him alone? Or must every human being walk this path of decay?" "It is the common law of this mortal form, Prince Siddhartha," Channa whispered. "No amount of wealth, no stone walls, and no royal blood can turn back the tide of aging. It awaits us all. It awaits the beggar, and it awaits the king." These words struck Prince Siddhartha like a bolt of lightning from a clear sky. The pristine white horses and the golden chariot suddenly felt like a hollow mockery. "Turn the chariot back to the palace," the Prince Siddhartha said, his voice heavy with a solemn stillness. "What joy can there be in pleasures, when we know that old age stands waiting at the end of the path to unravel it all?" For many days, Prince Siddhartha sat alone in his chambers, turning away the dancers, the feasts, and the musicians. The golden walls of his rooms could no longer protect him. They served only as reminders of the grand illusion that had enveloped his life. Yet, the yearning in his soul could not be contained by remaining indoors. The prince needed to know more. He needed to see what other secrets the world concealed. Not long after, Prince Siddhartha ordered Channa to take him outside the gates once more. This time taking a different route, far from the main paths. The king, believing the first encounter to be nothing but an unavoidable accident, had redoubled his efforts to clear the pathways. But life could not be entirely controlled by royal decrees. As the chariot glided through a quiet settlement, a sound shattered the stillness, a raw, anguished cry, not of words, but of sheer physical torment. The prince looked toward the source. Lying on the dirt by the roadside was a man writhing in obvious agony. His skin was pale and covered in weeping, discolored sores. His eyes rolled back, unfocused and wild, and his frame was racked by violent, uncontrollable tremors. He clutched his stomach, retching into the dust, utterly unable to stand. No one came near him, for fear of the dreaded disease. Prince Siddhartha immediately stepped down from the golden chariot. Ignoring Channa's protests, he walked toward the suffering man, his heart overflowing with a pure, unblemished empathy. "Channa," the Prince Siddhartha called out, his eyes wide with deep sorrow. "What is happening to this man? Why does he cry out in such agony? What has broken his body so utterly?" Channa stepped between the Prince Siddhartha and the sick man. "Please, my prince, do not come too close," Channa pleaded. "This man is gripped by a terrible affliction. Sickness has invaded his flesh, consuming his life force and throwing his body into utter chaos. Sickness cares nothing for dreams or the goodness of a man. It strikes in silence, turning strength into frailty and comfort into unendurable torment." Prince Siddhartha stared at the weeping sores on the man's skin, feeling a resonant ache vibrating within his own body. "And tell me, Channa. The prince's voice was barely a whisper. Is this affliction a rare curse that strikes only the unfortunate? Or are our bodies forever defenseless against such ravage? We are all born with a fragile vessel. Prince Siddhartha. Channa replied with absolute candor. Sickness is a shadow that follows every living being. Unpredictable. It can strike at any moment without warning, turning the strongest youth into a helpless frame writhing in pain. None of us are beyond its reach. Prince Siddhartha stood motionless in the dust, watching the sick man struggle for breath. His illusion of eternal comfort was dissolving completely. He realized that health was not a solid ground, but a fragile thread that could snap at any moment. The prince returned to the chariot, his heart heavy with a profound sorrow. The world was not a pleasure garden of endless joy. It was a vast realm of unspoken, silent suffering, driven by a relentless, unyielding urgency that burned in his chest like an unquenchable fire. Prince Siddhartha ventured outside the palace walls for the third time. He now knew that the palace was nothing but a gilded veneer, and he sought to discover what lay beyond that golden shroud. The prince ordered Channa to drive far from the royal grounds, deep into the common villages where the raw, unedited reality of life could no longer be hidden. As they neared the banks of a silent river, a funeral procession blocked their path. A group of people walked slowly through the dust, their heads bare, their voices raised in a rhythmic, mournful chant heavy with the weight of absolute grief. They carried a wooden litter upon their shoulders. Atop it lay a form wrapped tightly in a simple white shroud. Utterly motionless and cold, family members followed behind, their faces stained with tears, racked with sobs as their sorrow filled the heavy late afternoon air. Prince Siddhartha watched the funeral procession, a cold dread pooling deep within his chest. "Channa?" the prince asked, his gaze fixed upon the shrouded form. "Why does that person lie so utterly still and cold? Why is there no breath, no movement left within them? And why do those who follow weep with such absolute despair?" Channa removed his turban, bowing his head in reverence to the solemn stillness of death. "My prince, that is a corpse," Channa whispered, his voice trembling with the weight of truth. "The life force has departed from that mortal frame. The breath has ceased. The blood has grown cold. And the mind is gone. The family is carrying the body to the riverbank for cremation. For this mortal frame will soon dissolve, returning its earth, water, fire, and wind back to the world. They weep because they will never look upon their loved one again." Prince Siddhartha felt the ground beneath his feet give way. "Death." Prince Siddhartha repeated the word, and it felt heavy, carrying a grim and absolute finality as he spoke it. "Does this mean that life simply ends in this manner? That all we build, all we love, and everyone we cherish must ultimately become like that stiff, cold form upon the wooden litter?" "Yes, my prince," Channa said, a single tear tracing a path through the dust on his cheek. "Death is the final destination for all of humanity. No matter how powerful a king, how beautiful a queen, or how wise a sage, all must ultimately surrender to the silence of death. It is the law of impermanence from which no living being is exempt. Prince Siddhartha sat in the chariot, utterly stunned by the immense magnitude of this realization. Three sights had completely shattered his world: old age, sickness, and death. These were not random accidents. They were the inescapable boundaries of human existence. He looked down at his own strong, smooth hands, realizing that they too would one day wither, one day suffer illness, and one day become entirely cold and lifeless. The pleasures of the palace now felt like a cruel joke, a clever distraction designed to keep him amused while the silent march of time crept ever closer. He felt a profound, suffocating weight, the universal suffering of all living beings trapped in the endless cycle of birth, decay, and death. Unable to find peace of mind, Prince Siddhartha set forth out into the world one final time. He was no longer seeking distractions. He was searching for an answer to the profound mystery of existence. He could not accept that life was merely a tragic procession toward the grave. There had to be a way out of this labyrinth of pain. As they reached the edge of the city, near the peaceful boundary of a silent forest, Prince Siddhartha beheld a figure walking slowly along the path. This man was entirely different from anyone the prince had ever seen. He wore a simple, unadorned robe of a saffron hue, carrying nothing but a small clay alms bowl. Yet, with every step, his face radiated an unshakable serenity. His eyes were downcast, reflecting a mind completely at peace, utterly undisturbed by the chaos and anxieties of the world. He moved with a graceful, meditative rhythm, as if walking through an inner stillness that no external storm could ever touch. Prince Siddhartha felt a sudden, powerful surge of hope rise within his chest. He stepped down from the chariot and approached the serene traveler. "Tell me, Channa," the prince asked, his eyes igniting with a newly awakened light. "Who is this man? He possesses nothing, yet he walks with the majesty of an emperor. His face is entirely free from the dread of old age, sickness, or death. What path has he discovered?" Channa bowed low, his voice quiet. "My prince, that is a Shramana, a wandering ascetic," Channa replied. "He has left behind his family, his home, and all possessions to live the life of a hermit. He moves from place to place, surviving only on the food given in his clay bowl, searching for peace and a way out of all the world's suffering." Prince Siddhartha stood completely still, his eyes fixed upon the ascetic until the figure vanished into the green canopy of the forest. In that moment of profound silence, the prince's destiny became absolutely clear. This very sight he was encountering was not a warning. It was a doorway. It was the answer he had so earnestly sought. He realized that while the physical form must succumb to decay and death, human consciousness possesses the power to awaken to a timeless truth, one that is unborn and undying. The golden palace of Kapilvastu could no longer hold him. That very night, while the entire court slept deeply under the heavy embrace of illusion, Prince Siddhartha stepped softly to the bedside of his sleeping wife and newborn son. He did not awaken them, for his love for them had transformed into a boundless vow to find a path to deliver all living beings from the wheel of suffering. He stepped into the moonlit courtyard, mounted his horse, and rode away into the vastness of the night, leaving behind his crown, his wealth, and his royal destiny. He entered the forest, unarmed and alone, determined to sit in the stillness of his own mind until the darkness of ignorance dissolved, and the pure, unshakable dawn of enlightenment was found. The journey of Prince Siddhartha is the eternal story of our own inner awakening. The golden walls of his palace could not shield him from the truth. Just as the comforts we build cannot protect us from the laws of aging, sickness, and decay, through his eyes, we see the shattering of our own illusions, realizing that no external security can ever withstand the silent river of impermanence. Yet, the final sight of the serene ascetic reminds us that a way out of suffering does exist. It is not a flight from reality, but a courageous return to the stillness within. True peace begins only when we stop running, when we choose to leave behind the heavy crowns of our attachments and face the changing nature of life with a calm, unjudging mind. As the story closes, may we step out of the palaces of our anxieties. May we find the strength to let go of the fleeting and touch the timeless sanctuary that lives forever within our hearts.